Okay, we're going to begin the work session, November 4, 2025. Any changes to be made to the agenda?
Yeah, I'm told we need to add an executive session. In just a second, I'll tell you what it's about. Meeting to discuss and deliberate upon the appointment, employment, compensation, hiring, disciplinary action, or dismissal of periodic evaluation or rating of a public officer or employee as provided in Georgia Code Section 50-14-3B2. Executive session.
Okay, thank you. It's a work session. We don't usually vote. Do we need to make sure we have a consensus for that? Or are we good just putting it on the work session? Because the rest of the agenda is put together that way, yeah. All right, item A, governing body, 10-year employee anniversary recognition.
Good morning.
Morning.
We have Louise Clark for her 10-year years of service for Villa Rica. I've been here just about 4.5 years, and I call her Wheezy. That's why I had to stop for a minute and call her Louise, her professional name. But Louise is just an awesome employee. She truly cares about her job. She truly cares about doing the right thing.
And one just came through 5 minutes
Yes.
ago.
And, when we were able to reorganize, y'all were allowed us to reorganize the finance department. We were in desperate need of a purchasing director. And Louise was the first person that I thought of that would take the role, run with it, grow with it, help departments. She's always available for departments. Everybody knows that if they've got questions related purchasing, vendors, anything with accounts payable, you go to Wheezy. So I just want to thank her for her years of service, thank her for being such a great team player, but most importantly, thank her for being my friend.
Has anyone heard from Anna?
She's not gonna be able to make it.
Okay.
She did tell me that.
Oh, okay. All right, item 2, the 2026 City Council meeting calendar.
Good morning, Mayor and Council. I'm Teresa Campbell, the City Clerk, and it is that time of year again for us to discuss the upcoming meeting calendar. After our workshop last week, the council asked to look at the option 1 and option 3 that have been presented of the 3 options. So in your attachment, I've removed option 2. I did include the PowerPoint that was presented that included all options. And really, it's up to y'all's discussion and your desire, and I will put that into a calendar.
So somebody initially felt the need to put it on the all-day work session, so go ahead. Whoever, is interested in making sure we look at it and look at options.
Oh, I just want to say, Councilwoman McCoy did ask me to ask that we not put this on consent because she did want to be able to have some comment and discussion on it, and she's not here today. So that's my only feedback I have.
If that is the case, then I can get with finance and populate what the millage rate and budget workshop hearing dates would be, because we started adding those to the regular calendar so that they would not be special called meetings and that they are annual regular meetings. And right now, all that I have on there is that they will be in August of 26. So if y'all are not putting it on consent, then I can have the actual dates and times hammered out.
It's a motion on here. We have to choose between the two, so we can't do motions at the work session, so it'll have to be voted on.
Correct. But and then you've also had one council person had requested it to be, it is still y'all's will, those present. But there's also another request. I will move however I am guided.
Okay, I guess I would object to it being on consent, so that would take it off.
Okay.
I would recommend, being that we're in the middle of an election, with at least one, maybe two seats changing, that it's difficult for us to be the ones to go ahead and make the decision on when the meetings are going to occur. We could have, we know we'll have one, we could have potentially two changes, and those people will still have to work under the schedule. I'm assuming now we're going to go ahead and have discussion, even though we don't want to put it on consent. I'll delay my comments if anyone else would like to speak first.
I'll just say, I really don't, I mean, I've kind of figured out how to get my schedule worked out where I need to be, so I'm fine with either option. I really don't have a preference, as long as it's not 2 evening meetings. So, which I don't think that's not an option on either one of these, so I think I'm fine with whatever the council, feels is sufficient, so.
Yes, Councilman Warmoth.
I'd just like to say this was just a discussion item at our workshop. This is not something that council had decided one way or the other on what to do. I think it's our responsibility to explore all options, and that's what we were doing in that workshop. There has been an e-blast that has been sent out that insinuates that we're not trying to be transparent, and that is absolutely not the case. I think it's very unfair to say that that's what's happening. It was a discussion item where council should feel open to have those discussions, and that staff should also have some input on that, which happened during that meeting. Although some were a little fearful of speaking out for fear of retaliation, and council should be able to speak about this as well without fear of retaliation. And again, all we were doing was discussing. I'm open to when these meetings occur. What I will say is that I did share in this workshop that my concern was that with the meetings being a week apart, those items are not fresh on our minds from one meeting to the next, and I felt that a week apart seemed to be a lot. And so again, for full transparency there, that was my stance on that. At no point am I trying to hide anything, not to be transparent with the public, and I just wanted to point that out.
Yes, Councilman Carter.
Okay, obviously this is not going to affect me next year, but my 2 cents is it would be a disservice to the public if we had them both on the same day, because there's no time for the public to interject any kind of information to the council before they vote on it, because people are at work during the work session on the same day and the vote is at night. You need to give the people a little bit of time, those that want to interject something into some of the subjects that we talk about and then vote on. They need a little bit of time to get to their council person and let their ideas be known. So I think on the same day we did that for a while, and I thought we almost had one meeting running into another. There's just no time for the public to interact with the council. So I'm not going to be affected, but I would think that I would hate to see us go back to that same day.
Councilman Marchman.
My take on this is that whichever way you go, somebody's not going to be satisfied. Somebody's not going to be effective. So, I mean, we do consider the public, but we've got to make decisions. And either way you go, somebody's going to complain. Somebody, like Ms. Wimmer said, somebody's going to have something to say during the public. They're going to put something on Facebook. I don't care which way you go. We consider the public, true enough, but we the ones that got to do this. So we've got an opinion just like they have. So, I mean, either way, it's fine with me. But, so, whichever way we go, I'll abide by it.
If I may, I just want to be clear in response to what council is speaking about. What was presented at the workshop is an attachment that anyone can see. So it is included, and that's what's on the screen. Those are the options, and that was what was discussed at the workshop, just to throw that out there, that for the public to know that everything that was presented is on there to be reviewed.
I agree with Councilman Warmoth that sometimes having the entire week between you're getting the presentation and you almost feel like by Sunday night you need to refresh it before the Tuesday meeting or Monday. If it's not a crazy Monday, kind of refresh your memory on what you heard in the presentation and maybe look back at some items, because sometimes they're fairly complicated with multiple pages of documents. I did send out an email. I've done, if I think there's a topic that's a significant issue, I've done that for well over a decade. I started as a city councilwoman doing that, interacting with my constituents. I did sit down an agenda item, I'm sorry, an email, because I think there's a real issue. I think there's a real problem with having the voting meeting on the same day as you receive the presentation. So you get the presentation, you're voting on it a certain amount of hours later before most people have had a chance to either see the video or hear a news report, whether it's the radio or the newspaper or social media, which can be beneficial at times. You just got to check things out. It depends on the sources. And know what we're planning on doing. Public meetings are for the public. That's why they're public meetings. That's why we have sunshine laws. I have put that all in an email form if anybody, so I'm not going to restate everything that's in the email. But I do think it's a real problem with transparency for the public. Now, that does not impugn the character or anybody else charges on why they may see it differently. That's my opinion of what happened. Some of it's factual. The factual part is you're voting just hours later on something you just heard the presentation on, and the citizens in a lot of cases have not had time to even give feedback. I've already gotten some feedback from citizens, which is the reason I do an email. It's a way to get information out. People can give feedback if they agree or disagree, and already this morning I'd received some information from citizens on, how they felt about it. But anyway, that's all. I would hope that we would get through our election season before we address the calendar. We did have to change it way back when it was first done to being both meetings on the same day. It got changed like 3 times, and one time is in the middle of the year, because what was that, 3 o'clock? We had a 3 o'clock and a 6 o'clock, and one ran right into the other. One time we overlapped and ran right into the evening
I
meeting.
believe that there was, whenever y'all were making a transition from having 2 meetings a month and no work session, then you had a schedule that was, you did 6 months of one.
That's right.
One layout, then you took June
That's right.
off, and then you had the remaining months of the year in another schedule to see how council
That's right, thank you. I had forgotten that.
like to meet.
We kind of did a trial basis, so we went eventually 1:30, then 10 o'clock. So we kind of played around with it. Anyway. Any other comments from council?
Well, I guess, just to be clear though, so none of these options entail changing the voting meeting from the second Tuesday, so for just general planning purposes, that's not changing. It's whether the question on the table is whether the work session is, what day the work session is, so that just that information helps me out for my planning purposes for 2026. So
Yeah, the
I can
6
move forward
o'clock
to what I
Tuesday
need. Yeah.
evening.
Historically, in everything that I have researched, second Tuesday has kind of been the standard, and I think that that is what everyone
Right.
is used to, at least having a meeting on the second Tuesday.
Yeah, years ago, when we started, it was on the first Tuesday, and a lot of times that's when we ran into just after holiday weekends. Election day and holiday weekends seemed to, a lot of times we ended up having to move our meeting. And there was another reason. It conflicted with the county commission meeting on the Carroll County side, so you could never be both. Our commissioner at that time was Vicki Anderson. She could never be at ours. None of us could ever be at theirs because we were on the same night. So that played into it, and the holidays. Being that the week away, and I don't know how everybody else feels about that, but having the entire week, if there's still some consideration, although it's not on here, I don't believe it's on those options. It was on the original 3, but I don't think it was considered at that time, is still maybe consider a Thursday, Tuesday, where it's not an entire week between, I don't know who all might be open to that. Not picking the time, but not 2 nights. I don't think anybody wants 2 nights because there are other school meetings and everything else that occur in the evening, and it's hard to devote 2 evenings just to council meetings in addition to all the others, so.
I believe that there was
Anybody?
also conflicts with at least one council person and with legal representation on having anything on the Thursday before the meeting. And that is why option 2 was automatically removed.
Okay.
Just to refresh.
Yeah. Is that with both legal or time of day?
Apologize. If it is during the day, I think there are fewer issues. But if it is during the evening, yes, it will conflict with another municipality.
I think that was the issue, though, was that legal couldn't do it in the evening on the Thursday, and there's a council member that is not available during the day on Thursday.
Okay.
And so that is the information that I was working from.
Is there anybody on council that would want a second 6 o'clock? Because I didn't think there was. Okay, I think that was like an adamant, no, we're not going there. Okay. Anything else from council? All right, that item will move on. Building development, item B1, appeal of utility capacity decision. This is involving development or proposed development on 11 Gordon Street.
That's correct. Good morning. This is a presentation for an item that we wish to be heard on during the regular council meeting. The applicant will be present at that time.
Mr. Griffin,
Yes, ma'am.
Deputy, I'm
Nick
saying.
Griffin, I'm so sorry.
No, it's okay.
It's the work session. Nick Griffin, Deputy Director of Building Development. I apologize.
Thank you, sir.
Yes, ma'am. So Gordon Street Apartments have previously submitted civil plans and construction drawings that had their approvals lapse, essentially reverting them back and subjecting them to our development regulations and ordinances that are currently in place. Mr. John Bain would like to be present as well to discuss this item as well as the applicant next week.
So,
Questions from council?
I'm sorry. So there's no public
Councilman
hearing on
Montague.
this, though?
Not technically, no,
Okay.
sir.
Thank you.
No, this is just an appeal to the council in regards to a staff decision to deny water sewer availability and capacity.
Has
Councilman
anything been
Montague, I
done?
missed your question.
Oh, I was just confirming there's no public hearing, though, on this. It's just a decision of the council. Okay.
Got it. Councilman Carter.
Has anything been done at this site at all, other than,
Depends on, done on this site physically, I couldn't exactly tell you. There hasn't been a permit issued for this site, which
no
involved
construction?
construction, but there has been engineering and design and a lot of research and study.
Army Corps of Engineers.
There's been a lot of movement regarding the site. Physically on the site, I could not tell you exactly, but we have not permitted the site for construction and saw construction being done.
So this is an apartment complex?
It is a proposed apartment complex that is in CMU.
We talked about this one during the all-day work session, did we not?
With
Of
the
layout.
process, like about the appeal process and.
And that had an element, a corner, an element of commercial to it, but it's primarily multifamily.
That's correct.
I'm thinking we'll probably reserve more of our questions, unless somebody has them now, for when they're here.
I believe that'd be appropriate, and John Van would also be here and be present regarding the decision made to deny.
Can I ask just one, though? Were they aware that they had a certain amount of time that this could expire with the capacity, or should I save that for when John's here?
If you don't mind, would you save that for when John is here?
That's what I'll do.
I couldn't
Okay.
tell you on if they were truly, you know what
Yeah,
I'm saying?
then-
I know there's language in our ordinances that state the expiration dates, and those are usually included in the letters that we issue that, this letter is good for 12 months, et cetera. So, but I'd like to answer that question. I wouldn't be able to tell you if
Okay,
they were truly.
well, I'll just reserve mine for then, and/or call John and ask some questions. Probably call John ahead of time and ask some questions.
Yes, ma'am.
Right. Anything else from council? Yes,
Nick-
Councilman Montahan.
And so let me ask, Nick, I don't know if you know this, but on the application, there's some flow information on there. Is that, do you know if the data that's listed there is specific to this development, or is that like general data for?
That was data that was formulated by their engineer specific to this development, the proposed unit count,
Okay.
et cetera.
Okay, because like, for example, I see 1 equals 127, 1 BR, so I'm assuming that's 127, 1 bedroom. Then it says 110 plus. Okay, so that means 110 plus gallons per day for the 1 bedroom, for the 127 1-bedroom units?
I know there was some question, yeah, and at the end, it has a multiplier effect to it, and more engineering formulas than I can compute
Okay.
accurately, but I do know it was specific to the development, yes.
Okay. Because I'm just going to make sure I'm reading it right. But now I think I'm understanding it now. So it's 159 2-bedroom units at 155 multiplied by 155, which is a gallons per day, plus 32 3-bedroom units multiplied by 205. Okay. I think I'm understanding the
Yes, sir.
the equation there now. Thank you, sir.
Yes, sir.
I was looking at that. That was pretty complicated. When it was doing all the
Sure.
computing for how much water or sewer would be used for different units.
Yeah. And with the application doesn't allow for a full, formula format to be well written.
Yeah, I do see like a chart down here too. And again, that's kind of what made me wonder if this is like a general, like your average 1-bedroom apartment nationwide, or if this is what they project specific to this. But we'll talk to John about it,
Okay, good.
I guess, next week.
I do know there are general data that it's equivalent, per 1-bedroom, 2-bedroom.
Right.
That, they take that in consideration.
Okay.
It's
thank you,
pretty
sir.
general.
Okay, if there's nothing else, we'll move on to item 2, development services update.
Okay. So at the workshop the other day, the council and the mayor has expressed the desire to have a development update every month. So I've done these previous and kind of just went by our various notes that we keep internally. There's a lot more information, obviously, that we have regarding each development, but we formatted this way as a trial period. We'll see what kind of questions that we are going to receive per development, and then we can adjust the chart and the information that we provide every month accordingly. So I'll just kind of start going down our list and giving you a status update based off my notes. So forgive brevity, but you can stop me anytime you have a question. I'll try to answer it the best I can.
Okay, on the format here, would you please date this thing so that we'll know what day?
Oh, absolutely.
And also, from now on, you gave us the initial one. From now on, as we get them, would you please flag them as to which ones have changed? That way we won't have to look at all of it.
Absolutely. That's a great one. And so we'll start that this month. So from this month on, I will any status that's changed, I'll make a note or flag it or highlight it a certain color. I'll make sure that it's delineated from anything that hasn't changed, and I'll date it.
Thank you.
Okay. All right. So at the top of our list, we have the Arbors Phase 1, and it has 192 units, and 192 units are currently active. Now, when I say active, I'm referring to what has received a certificate of occupancy. I don't know if it's occupied, but I know that it's available to be occupied. The Arbors Phase 2, we've heard little to no movement. I know that they are still probably in design and engineering phase.
And that, oh, I'm sorry.
Yep.
That's seniors only, correct?
I will have to 100% verify, and I will email you back.
Arbors Phase 2, correct?
Yes,
Want to
ma'am.
make sure, okay.
And forgive me if I answer questions like that. I don't want to give any kind of incorrect information, so I'll make sure I get that information to you. All right, the Fuquay Apartments, they're calling this Villa Rica Partial A. They have been issued a land disturbance permit, and they are currently beginning construction. This development group asked and requested a building permit, but we denied that building permit based on them not having a final plat just yet. And so townhomes and single family require final platting. We require all the infrastructure to be in place before we issue a building permit for various reasons. And I say that leading me into Villa Rica Partial A is a multifamily. Okay, so they are requesting a building permit, and the city staff is reviewing their architectural plans, and they will probably receive a building permit because we don't really do final plats for commercial developments. We discussed this a little bit at the workshop, the difference between preliminary and final and what requires each. Villa Rica Parcel B is a townhome community. We will require a final plat prior to issuing a building permit, but they are also under construction. We have Fortune Parkway, the inline communities. Owned that. They also sold the townhome and the single-family portion to a group called Tamarack.
I'm sorry, Nick. You kind of skipped over the Fuqua single family.
We've had no movement on that at all.
Where was that proposed to be? Because I just don't remember it. Is that
It's in the Fuquay development. I can show you on the
like
map, but kind of
behind the Chick-fil-A?
Yes, sir.
Okay,
Yes,
so that's
there's
that.
a little-
That's single family. Okay.
Yes, sir.
All right, thank
I
you, sir.
apologize.
No, you're fine. I just couldn't remember it at all. So
Yeah.
thank you.
And it's not a huge parcel, but I can
Yeah.
give you the acreage, and I can highlight the portion where they're proposing to put single family.
Okay.
If
thank
you'd
you,
like
sir.
that. Yep.
Okay, thank you, sir.
I was wondering where they were going to fit it over there.
Yeah, it's just like it's down in the hill.
Yeah.
It is down. The topo doesn't work great for them, but I will send that as well. And I'm going to just take notes the whole time to see what's requested. Going back to Fortune Parkway. So we've had a road component of this development. We've had a single family. We're going to have an apartments, and we have townhomes. The single family and the townhomes are currently owned and being built by a group called Tamarack. Inline Communities has built our road, and they've also made the park over there pad ready for a basketball court. The single family, I believe they are, Inline Communities is going to start, or they're desiring to develop this themselves. That's speculation at this point, but I've heard, I've had a few correspondence with them regarding such. As of right now, we've had no applications for the single family. So the only thing under construction was the road, the multifamily, or the townhomes, and the single family. I have messed up again. I apologize. We've had no correspondence regarding the multifamily. The townhomes and the single family are being built by Tamarack. This whole development is under a stop work order right now. They have deviated from their plan set. Tamarack has. Because we had two different developers, one building a road and another developer building the single family and the townhomes. We just issued a blanket stop work order until we have created them a punch list of what they need to provide the city before we lift that. So they're actively working on that punch list, and once the city receives everything that we require, then we'll lift that stop work order and construction can begin again. We just talked about the Gordon Street Apartments. They are coming to appeal their water sewer availability decision. We've got Walton Phase 2. Their final inspections are underway, so they are near final CO. Jamison Townhomes is currently under construction. 18 units have a CO. Disregard the active unit that says 176. There's 18 units that are available. Alta Apartments is complete. On things like Alta and the developments that are under completion, is it the council's desire for me to take these off of the spreadsheet or just leave them on there, and they're not really taking up too much space, obviously, but
If they're done,
I guess, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I mean, I guess I thought I was thinking about this the whole time while I was looking at some of these, so I apologize. But, I mean, I guess once you present to us that they're complete, maybe the next time it's not on there.
I
mean,
know
that's
this
just my
happened.
thoughts,
Yeah,
right?
that came up last time I did a development update. So
Once you give us the development update and said that's complete,
It's
and then
complete.
probably don't need it again the next time. That's just my opinion, though.
I agree. I mean, otherwise we'd be listing everything in the city.
Yeah.
Once something's finished and we're aware that they're done,
right.
and they've got
Yeah.
their CO or whatever, then, yeah. And less for you to cover.
I'm a fan. I agree. We've got Twin X Phase 2, 38 units out of 67 have been issued a CO. Charleston Place Phase 3 is under construction. There are 17 lots remaining. 37 have been issued a CO. The Hickory Level Townhomes will be removed from this list as of today. They are complete. Summergate Phase 3, we've had no movement and had no correspondence from any developer interested in developing this phase. The Larry Boggs Townhomes, we have had no correspondence regarding this development at this time.
Remind me, where is that?
It was on Park Ridge Drive on the opposite side of Tractor Supply.
Okay.
It was a small parcel. It was very narrow and long behind the Sonic.
Okay.
So when did they, I mean, how did they get on this list? What
Concept.
So how
back
long
with
ago was
previous
that?
Administration, over 2 years ago.
Over 2
Well,
years ago.
I will tell you, I spoke with Larry and Kip, and it was verbally mentioned a year and a half ago, so not too long. But it was presented to the city as a concept,
Okay.
and so we added it to the list. But we've had no correspondence since then.
But you're not a preliminary plat, just a
No,
concept, like
just
we
a
just
concept.
conversation. To sounds like, or maybe
a drawing,
raw,
a concept
rough
drawing
drawing.
was drawn.
Okay.
Mr. Griffin, you said something that was really important that is noteworthy. We didn't used to get these updates, so thank you so much. It's very helpful. When we have things that are 2 years old or 3 years old or 6 years old, they can still come back to life sometime if they don't have those letters that expire for capacity and this and that. And that put us in a bad way for about 4 or 5 years, because there were things we had no idea were still on the radar or were on the radar. There's some Avamore, that kept coming back because they were renewing things. This is really helpful because we know what's happening. We go, oh, that one's expired. It's a no-go, or they're not going forward with it, and we know now. And so this is really helpful. I appreciate what you're doing with this.
No problem at all. The Arpit townhomes is what they've considered that. That's in civil plan review. This development also has a commercial component to it and also has a road component to it. This is over near Pumpkintown Road. And if you remember, they were issued a timber permit, and this development received a stop work order, and they had some erosion control issues that they had to mitigate. They mitigated all of those, had a mitigation plan that was signed and approved and met. And so now this group is applying for a grading only permit, which the city is considering, and we will most likely permit them with a land disturbance permit. This will allow them to at least start grading. Their plan set has been approved by the state, which is Georgia Soil and Water Conservation Commission, which is our governing authority as far as land disturbance permits. So we will probably be issuing a land disturbance permit soon, so you may start seeing construction going on over there. South Harbor 2A. 11 COs have been issued, 20 lots remaining, and this developer has paused construction at this time. We do not know why. We just know they have stopped pulling building permits, and it's been a little while since they've done so. South Harbor.
I'm sorry, who's the builder on, or who's the developer on that one?
It's not. Give me 1 second. I'll think of it. Lots of developers. Let me get back to you.
Is it Adams? I know Adams.
It is
the-
Adams.
Is it? Okay.
The 2B, we've had no correspondence on developer or any potential developer for South Harbor 2B. Northwoods 2, there's been 11 COs issued. There's 94 lots remaining. Northwoods 3, we're preparing for a final plat. We've already received bond requirements that the city requires. We've received a preliminary final plat just to kind of do a cursory review. And so we are getting them ready for platting, and I will bring that to council for approval, or presentation and for approval. Connors Landing, 129 COs have been issued. Water Mist 2, there's been 12 COs been issued that have been issued. Water Mist 3, we've had no correspondence regarding any potential development at this time. Fairway 16 is currently under construction. They're nearing final plat stage as well. Fairway 17, 12 lots have been issued a CO, so there's 12 active. Rivershire Townhomes, there's been 109 COs issued. Phase 1 still has 7 lots. It's kind of near phase 2. They're planning on finishing out phase 1, 7 lots at the end of the phase 2. Larry Boggs Single Family has been 20 COs issued.
So I'm sorry, where's that at? What?
Across the street from City Hall. Give me a
That,
second.
oh, the Tanyard Village?
Tanyard Village, yes, sir.
Okay, that's what that is. Okay.
The Emery Townhomes is being built by Starlight. There's been 72 COs issued. There's 196 lots remaining. This is over adjacent to Villa Trace. The cottages near First Baptist Church, they're working on civil construction. I'm also working, getting them final plat prepped and ready. They are aware of what the city's going to require on that stage. Villa Trace Apartments, they are working on civil construction. Village Walk is a townhome community that began development back in 2005. There are 16 potential lots to still be developed, and they have submitted civil plans for review. Alma Grove Townhomes was supposed to be a senior living initiative development with like a memory care over on Old Town Road. Every now and then I'll receive correspondence from the owner inquiring about certain processes and things like that, but we've had no formal application for water and sewer service.
Okay, so on that one, you said 24 possible and 24 active. Is that that's supposed to be 0?
That's a mistake,
Okay.
yeah.
So is Alma Grove is the one that recently cleared out their property because
At the request of the city.
Yeah, because there were some issues with. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Homeless encampment and other
Yeah.
things.
Okay.
So we did issue a land disturbance permit for a phase 1 of that. That was approved by the state. I'm not sure really what's going on the back end of that. All right, so we'll move over to the commercial side of things. Highway 101 liquor store, which is the intersection of Lake Paradise and Highway 101. They have been issued a land disturbance permit and civil construction is underway. The Villa Rica liquor store, which is beside the QT back behind Wellstar. This is an existing brick building. They have received a demolition permit and a remodel permit. They are working on the interior of that building, and I believe they are applying for a variance on the facade requirement. Some of the stipulations and the requirements that council imposed on liquor stores being built, like 4-sided brick and a certain amount of, storefront windows, et cetera. I believe they're coming in for a variance on that soon.
Yeah, it's on the bottom of our agenda.
Okay.
We'll get to hear more about that.
Perfect. On the Highway 78 liquor store, they were almost permit ready, and they have decided to change their design. It's been a couple months since I've heard from this group, so I'm not sure where they are at with that. But last we've heard is they were in engineering and design. Connors Road Liquor Store, this is currently in civil plan review. We've reviewed, we've done a first pass review of their civil plans, and we've issued comment back. So we're waiting on a revision. Rockmart Road and Highway 101 is the spec building that's being built on Highway 101. They are under construction. 111 Boggs Road is another parcel on the Boggs Road Industrial Development. This is going to be another spec building. Their civil plans have been submitted and reviewed. We've issued comment back. Toronto Baking is still under construction. Peach State Trucking, CO has been issued. Final inspections are complete. They have applied for a sign, I believe. So I will also take Peach State Trucking off this list. Robbie's Food Hall is currently under construction. Sunbelt Asphalt is currently under construction. Tractor Supply is nearing final inspections. They have made haste with this building. It's a very good group that's doing the work out there. Whataburger, the civil
We're going to
plans.
get questions on this one.
Whataburger, I know.
I'm kidding with you.
I've
Somebody
been
said,
getting beat up. about
somebody said,
Whataburger.
don't lose Whataburger.
Oh, no, I've been getting beat up about it. I'm trying, guys. Their civil plans have been reviewed. They're right over an acre by .05. So they had 1.05 acres disturbed. They had to send their plans to the state.
Now, where is this?
This is over where the Pizza Hut used to be.
Oh, okay.
I'm sorry, on the Tractor Supply, do you have any idea like when they're going to open? Because like you said, they're getting pretty close, and I've seen people ask about that.
Any idea? I would project personally, in my opinion, around February, March.
Oh, okay. So I was thinking the way it looked like maybe
Close.
Christmas, but
I
you're
don't
talking
want to. I
February,
don't want to be
March.
too optimistic
Okay.
and then put a burden on them.
Gotcha. Can we switch out the Whataburger for a Culver's? Is that too late?
Switch it out for what?
A Culver's?
I think there's some other parcels that are vacant. We can try to invite Culver's over. Wellstar will be removed from this list also. Their CO has been issued. R-Pit, we already discussed that. This is the commercial component of that development where they are applying for a grading only permit on both of these next items. Scott Evans dealership has submitted civil plans. This is right in front of our Gold Dust Recreation facility across the street. They have applied for a GDOT permit for their entrance exit, and they have also are having to apply for a joint work permit from the actual contractor that's doing the GDOT work. Part of GDOT's process is if there's active construction going on, where another group wants to also do construction on their entrance and exit, they have to receive two permits, or either a letter that's signed by that contractor giving them permission. Liberty Logistics, we've had no movement. That was a concept. I think I'd like to keep that one on this list. That may come back. Waffle House is under construction. The building permit has been issued. They are going vertical. Chipotle will be removed from this list. They are complete. The Fuquay commercial component is just about complete, but I'll leave them there. We've got the Tidal Wave building. Chick-fil-A and Chase, I'm going to remove from this list. They're complete. Carroll Road storage expansion, the building permit has been issued. They are nearing completion. Flex Storage is essentially the same group as Carroll Road Storage. They have stated that after they get CO for the Carroll Road expansion, they're going to apply for the Flex Storage expansion.
Where's that at? Where's Flex Storage at?
That is, let me get back to you exactly, and I'll send you the concept drawing that we received, because that's been a while.
Okay.
Strickland Brothers Oil, I'm going to remove that from this list. They're complete. Camp Dentistry is nearing completion on their remodel.
Mm-hmm.
Fortune Parkway Road development, we've already discussed that. It's currently under a stop work order. And I have a duplicate, so disregard that. Tanner Lab and Morgue expansion is under construction. Tanner Women's Center expansion. This is going to be quite a large addition to Tanner, which staff has been working pretty closely with the Tanner Group, and Ray Lynn's doing the construction out there. We have issued a Phase 1 land disturbance permit so they can begin their parking lot work. Their Phase 2 is actually going to be a complete land disturbance permit, and they're eager to begin construction, looking to permit them fully by tomorrow. Kona Ice has been issued a land disturbance permit. I'm sure you've seen the activity that's beside the Goodwill over on Highway 61.
Oh, so that's what that is.
That's going to be a Kona Ice, and the concept is that they would have their dispatch and their operations based out of that building, and they would also have a coffee shop that it would be, active to the public every day. I forget the name of the coffee. Tom's is.
Yeah, they were going to have like a cafe with pastries and coffee, so that's still in the works for them as far, along with the distribution for all the trucks will leave from there, correct?
The last I heard, yes, ma'am.
Okay, thank you.
Structall, we met with this group about probably a year and a half ago. They were looking to do a very large expansion, so I believe they're in design and engineering, but we haven't heard or had anything submitted or a concept presented to the city just yet.
That's in the Fullerville area, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Out there off of Rockmart. Okay.
The Kroger Hole commercial.
Everybody knows.
The Kroger Hole, I love the Kroger Hole. That is, we issued a permit to Astra, which is working for GDOT, for them to do pilings, essentially. We made them put their BMPs in place, and then we, at the request of Astra, we have closed out that permit. So that property is just sitting vacant. I'll remove it if you guys want. Doesn't really hurt to be on there. But until we really get any kind of correspondence over that parcel, if you guys are okay with it, I'll just take it off. The Ultimate Car Wash Retail, this is beside the Ultimate Car Wash on Connors Road. They have another parcel that the intent when this developer built the car wash was to also develop this parcel adjacent to it, and they did some water sewer infrastructure work in preparation to it. And so they are working on design for like a little white box, possibly a restaurant coming into that little parcel. We haven't really seen anything that's absolute yet.
I'm sorry, so where is this at again?
The Ultimate Car Wash on Connors. You know where the cornhole place is? In between.
Yeah, the owners there are actually doing some of their own work.
I
Gabrielle, G2.
Okay, all right, so this is the existing car wash, but
Yes.
you're talking about
Yes.
there's a parcel next to it.
Yeah.
That they're, okay, I see now. I'm
And
sorry.
the intent, like I said, they had prepared infrastructure-wise to do so.
Yeah, they're trying to, just on their own to a degree, and we'll see if we can help to some degree, some help with trying to attract maybe a restaurant or something
be
like
great.
that. Something we don't, I mean, they're looking for something we don't have that's like a sit-down that would be different, maybe a national chain. We'll see. Nobody knows for sure, right?
Right,
Because
right.
it's the free market whether they'll come or not, but they are actively pursuing it.
I think it'd be a great location,
Okay.
and that's all we've got.
Question for council, get y'all's feedback.
I should've
You said,
asked this
oh, go
back
ahead.
earlier.
I'm
Excuse
sorry,
me.
Councilman Marchman.
I should have asked this one, and it's just a simple question. So we got 3 liquor stores coming to build.
We got 4, Miss Marshall.
Oh, God. Okay.
Now, it could be 50, but because of the requirements that were put in, where they had to be a certain size, a certain amount of inventory, and the city's divided into quadrants, so we had four locations, north, south, east, west, and from the consensus that at that time from council was that's how you keep from having every little shop with something in it that might get trashy or whatever. Question for council. If I'm understanding you correctly, Nick, Mr. Griffin, is that we requested that you do this every month.
The last I heard and interpreted, yes.
Okay. What do y'all think, since it's an extensive list, about maybe every month on what's changing and maybe more quarterly or further out rather than looking at every development? What's finished and what changed from last time we spoke? Do y'all want to have this every month?
Now, I had requested that he hand this to us, but he marked the ones that are changing, and those are the ones we would go over, so that we wouldn't do the whole list again. We would just do the ones that were flagged.
It'd make your life a little easier, but I didn't know how the council felt about it. Y'all?
If there's certain recommendations also, I can also add like some of the site plans and things like that. If you wanted to kind of pick and choose a few, like all of the status changes, if you'd like a presentation on them, I know I've done them prior.
I like the way Danny said, if you just have the list and we'll just go over the ones that changed. The only other thing I would add, in addition to what Danny said, is that maybe these ones that there's just no movement, just put them like on a whole separate section to say,
Inactive, maybe
collecting
down at the
dust
bottom or something.
like, yeah, inactive or no.
Don't- It would,
Something like that.
it would unburden you from having to go over
Yes, ma'am.
everything, including ones that there's been no movement. Here they are.
Y'all heard me
Here's what's
fumble
changed.
at the beginning. It's quite a bit. So get up here on the hot mic, and it's a lot of information to remember.
Something else that might be helpful, this might, I don't think it'd be burdensome for you to say, is maybe the location
Sure.
of where they are. Like if you say, truck and trailer, I always forget the name, and yet we go to it in Carrollton, right? I know where it is, but people are like, oh, we're getting one of those. Well, where? The Waffle House, kind of obvious, high
Had
traffic
somebody
area.
know where it was.
Yeah, there's several of those. If just the location, you would have known where the car wash was, for example. All right, so is everybody good with we'll just hear on a monthly basis what has changed? But on the list, we can still see maybe down at the bottom, okay, this is going nowhere.
Right.
And if changing would also be they're coming off the list, which we will want to know. That way we don't get surprised like we did last year when we started looking at everything that was popping up, everything that was coming back online from even a decade ago.
Right.
And some of them were only 3 or 4 years, but it's hard to remember them all if you're on council. So this is extremely helpful. We'll just make it a little less burdensome.
Okay. Thank you,
Okay,
guys.
thanks for doing
Now, I
that.
wasn't proposing that he issue something separate from this. I was proposing he keep this list running and just flag the ones that have changed, and we'll discuss those, but we would still get the list.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. And then I'll move the inactive collecting dust in a separate sheet. It'll just be on a second page. We'll make it good.
Collecting dust. That's what it's going to be named now. Thank you, Mr. Griffin. All right, Human Resources, Ms. Lanford.
Good morning, Tiffany Lamford, HR Director. I am proposing the 2026 citywide holiday schedule, keeping with the same trend of the 12 holidays that we've offered in the previous years. I do want to make a special note that July 4th is observed on July 3rd, which we know we have our huge July 3rd event. So in discussion, we are going to keep that as the holiday citywide, but for those that work July 3rd event, we'll get the Monday after off. So, and they'll
Those that
still-
work are a lot of people too, isn't
yes,
it?
yes. So they will
Yeah.
still get their 3-day weekend.
You're finished?
Yes, ma'am.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Sorry.
Council, questions? It's basically staying the same.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, anyone opposed to making this consent item number 1?
Thank you.
No. Information technology, Mr. Chambers.
Good morning, Mayor Council. Jim Chambers, IT Director. This is for what we discussed about in the work session the other day. to get our text messages archived as well as our social media. We're looking at about $120 per phone, or 180 phones and devices, $120 per annually, $50 one-time setup fee. So it's $30,600 just to get us in the door for the devices. Then $2,280 for up to 10 pages of social media, which would cover all of our social media pages. And that comes to the $32,880 the first time, and then after that it'll be $23,880 per year after, considering we don't go over the 180 phones. Of course, we add more phones, that number will go up.
Would you mind explaining for the public, like if I were sitting there, I don't think I'd know what you were talking about. We know because we discussed it
For right
all
now,
together.
if we get an open
Why
records-
we're doing this.
Correct. If we get an open records request requesting all communications, say Rica Parkway, I can gather all the communication from our network drives, from our email, but I do not have the capability to pull it from phones. This would give me the ability to pull it from the phones. And I know also what some people are thinking, well, I'll just go and download WhatsApp, I'll download Signal, or I'll download whatever on my city phone, and I'll communicate that way. With our MDM that we're also implementing, no, you won't, because we're not going to let you. So you will only have the text message
Those are creative
capability.
ideas. Only an IT guy would think about all those other places. I mean, maybe.
So
Oh my
we-
gosh, how can people even stand to have
So
that many
we will
options?
keep all the communication, and we'll have that information. So when somebody does an open records request, I'll have a quick turnaround for Teresa to be able to go and redact, or for legal to go and redact. But you won't be waiting on me to gather that information.
So at this point, the cost of being able to do this is about $33,000.
Yes, ma'am. It's not budgeted, because I did not see this coming.
So where are you gonna get the budget?
Probably from contingency. We did add a little bit more money in his budget, but probably not enough to cover this. So next month, once he firms up a price, we'll come before y'all and we'll take it from contingency, which we have $100,000 in contingency.
Or
Okay.
did.
Correct. This is a worst case scenario pricing. I won't know the full details until I have a conference call with Introdyne today at 4:00. I was able to get worst case scenario pricing. This is just somebody off the street coming in, but we're already a customer with our email archiving, so we do qualify for some discounts. So I'll have this price will definitely be lower.
Yes, Councilman Warmoth.
I think it's a great idea, transparency, and honestly, it makes our lives easier too when there's an open records request. Just get the information and let's move on.
Yes, because right now y'all are having to send us
Right.
screenshots, and it's time consuming for y'all, whereas now I can literally search one portal and gather all the information.
And how does this, because I know that the city clerk is the one who gathers all of the information for open records, so maybe this is a question for you, Teresa. How does this help you in your efficiency for gathering information?
Only in the quickness that I receive it. I still have to lay my eyes on everything for to review and produce what has been requested. But in terms of compiling the data, which is what where Jim falls, is that he's collecting, then he can go through. Now the phones will be added to what he can pull instead of just off of our computers and emails.
But this would help as far as one less step, correct?
Yes, it will be the speed of which I get it so that I can then work with legal for anything on exemptions or redactions.
And we can give more accurate timelines for turnarounds.
Well, it sounds like this is a no-brainer. I mean, it makes the efficiency, everyone's job much easier, and keeps that transparency, and citizens are getting their open records request much faster. So, I mean, I feel like this is a no-brainer.
It can take hours to have to go through and pick out. So if it can all be in one place and you can retrieve it, and to be honest, I think gives us, and I don't mean an out, but a way to explain to citizens. I hated it if I would get city questions on something like Messenger, because I'm already doing email. You got your phone, you got text, and I'm not on there that much. It could sit over there for a long time before I even see what they're asking me about, because I don't hang out on Messenger. I don't check it for periods of time. So to tell people when they try to communicate that way, hey, you need to go over and can you take that message, hey, copy and paste it maybe, whatever makes it easy for you, and move it over to an email and send it to me or something like that. So I think it makes our life easier as well. So, and also now it's still going to be cumbersome for you. It always will be, because you have to go through and then look at if somebody asks city business or how did your surgery go and how are your cancer treatments going, could be in with other information that gets turned over. But maybe if we can direct everybody, citizens, over to communicate only in certain ways, I'm looking at legal at the same time, then maybe it'll clean up where you don't have personal information intermingled with city business, which is part of what makes it take so long too, when you have to go through all of it. And although you'd still have to redact maybe personal information about an employee or something
Well,
like
full
that.
disclosure, and one of our most recent produced 56 gigs of data, and that was without text messages. So that turns into about 30,000 emails that had to be looked at, and so I
To put that in perspective, the largest open records request we've done data-wise didn't even come close to a gig, and this was 56 gigs. And that's without text
56
messages.
gigs means this much to me, but when you give how many
It's a lot.
messages it
It's
was.
a lot.
It's a lot.
It's a
so
lot.
while IT has been wonderful in researching programs and has also found some search programs, there is no getting away from having to click each one of them and make sure that it applies to what the request is or that it can be filled. So that part is, there is no miracle that has been created to get around the production side, but this is a vast improvement.
Yeah, help with staff time to a degree. To a degree, okay. Councilman Momdahan.
So, Jim, is there like a written agreement? Because there wasn't anything in the packet.
I don't have one from Introdyne yet. We are
Okay.
currently a client of theirs as far as for email archiving.
Okay.
So I doubt there will be an actual written agreement, but I can send you guys the quotes once I get the hard quotes.
Yeah, I mean, I just, want, I guess, have legal look at whatever
Sure.
written agreement and vet it. So,
Absolutely.
thank you.
Anything else from council? All right, so we know not to exceed a certain amount. We don't know exactly who's going to do it yet. Any one opposed to making this consent item number 2?
We know who's going to do it. It'll be
Oh.
Introdyne.
Okay,
Because it'll keep it all under one portal with our email archiver. We have the same protocols already open. So.
I see, I misunderstood. Okay, thank you.
So is this something we should put on consent since we don't have a contract or an
There won't
amount
be a-
yet?
There won't be a contract.
There will
It'll
not
just-
be a
It'll just
contract.
be a licensing agreement.
Okay. So just the licensing agreement, but without having an actual price. Not to exceed.
Correct.
Got it.
Anyone opposed to making this consent item number 2? No. Okay, that'll be 2. Right. Thank you, Mr. I think you're done. Let me look. Yes. Thank you, Mr. Chambers, unless you'd like to share more. Okay. E, community development. I was about to say Ms. Carter. No, it's not. You are not Miss Carter.
No, ma'am. Good morning,
Hey,
Mayor
Sean.
and Council. How y'all doing? Sean Myers, Planning and Zoning Administrator. So we have a variance request here for the Villa Rica Liquor Store. It's the first of the 4 to receive a building permit, as Nick mentioned. And what they're requesting is to vary the all brick requirement off of the code. The code provides that all liquor package stores must be bricked on all sides. And the intent of the code is that the 4 that are coming into Villa Rica be bricked on all sides. The request specifically asks that they are allowed to reduce the brick requirement on all sides to allow a fiber cement architectural panel, faux brick material, if you will, to be used on a section of the front facade. They're asking to allow the stucco fascia that exists to remain, and they're asking to allow the existing stone water table to remain. And staff recommends denial, as what they're requesting varies from the intent of the code. I'm happy to address any questions or go into further details if it pleases the council.
Yeah, I got a question. I saw this
Councilman
construction
Carter.
underway when I was on the way to Walmart over there, and couldn't, what in the world's that all about? Big walls going up. It looks kind of weird. It doesn't look anything like a liquor store should look like.
So they submitted and got building permit approval, but what they have constructed varies from what they initially proposed. They proposed windows on that wall with the variance application, with the building permit approval. And in fact, on October 30th, they were issued a stop work order because they deviated from that building permit approval. But that what you witnessed is a part of what they're requesting to vary.
So they're not working on it now. They're under a stop work order.
They're under a stop work order.
For context, this is not a built from the ground up, which I'm assuming, based on the location of the other vacant lots, that those will be ground up. What they're doing is redeveloping, in a sense, a office/shopping center area, knocking everything out and turning it into the square footage that would,
That's
right? It's a pre-existing, I don't want to say, well, pre-existing building
Yeah.
that had various
Tenants.
businesses in it, tenants, okay. So they're redeveloping that. It's over there between South Carroll, not, kind of behind the QT.
Behind the Walmart,
Right?
behind the QT,
Okay,
that's exactly
so
right.
it's kind of sandwiched in there where you wouldn't see it otherwise unless you're driving back there.
Is the whole store going to be a liquor store?
So what we've witnessed, what we've observed is that they've removed the partitions for the middle suites, but they've left the end suites as separate suites. The code does, however, provide that liquor stores must be standalone buildings. So we'll have them specify what their intent was in leaving those suites not included in the larger building, but they wouldn't be able to operate additional units in that building because the code provides that liquor stores must be standalone.
So we're going to require them to make the whole building a liquor store if we approve it.
In the case that you approve, the code says, and the intent is that liquor stores must be buildings that stand by themselves.
Right.
I mean, so,
And,
but the liquor store itself has already been approved, so the question is, they cannot put additional tenants in on those 2 suites. Because because the code requires that it has to be one single occupancy building.
yeah, and I agree with that.
Right.
We agreed with that a long time ago. so
Right.
I can
Yeah.
see why we would not let them do that.
Good morning, Brecca Carter, Interim Director for Community Development. I just wanted to add is that all 4 of the liquor stores that you all approved for presumptive licenses earlier this year are required to have that 4-size brick. There's no mechanism in the code that would allow staff to recommend approval of this request. So we're bringing it to you, noting all of the requirements if you do choose to approve it. But if you choose to deny it, then that they will be required to do full brick on that building. We've had multiple issues on the building side with this particular property owner, of course, but they have been made fully aware of the requirements, and they have deviated from that quite a few times. So This is probably the last piece of it on the zoning side that they're required to do in order to make what is happening on the property whole and in line with the code.
Miss,
But I have a question.
Councilman
If it-
Marchman.
If it's saying that it's supposed to stand alone, how are they allowed to put it in a building that's already up?
So what was interesting, I think, for staff is this is the only building, as was mentioned earlier, that was a building currently there. Everything is being built from the ground up. The other 3 liquor stores are being built from the ground up. This was an interesting situation because it was determined this would be the location. But the applicant, the property owner, knew that it could only house the liquor store. That was part of the presumptive approval, and they were fully aware of that. So the spaces they have that appear to be utilized eventually for office space cannot be utilized. And that is not part of what this variance process entails.
That's what I'm saying. If we agreed or we voted that it's got to be standalone.
Then it
and
in
this
fact
is
has to be
in another
standalone.
building, and this is already up there, how are they allowed to do that?
Well, the issue from the start was the property had about 8 or 9 tenant spaces within that building because it was a strip center. If you notice, right across that same parking lot is a kind of a mirrored building that has multiple uses within that building. So this was a retrofit. They had to go in, knock out all of the walls, all the partitions to create a single standalone building, and that is what they are required to do in order to have that liquor store in operation.
so, I'm sorry.
Hang on. So it's capable of being a standalone.
Absolutely.
It's the idea of if they try to leave 2 things on the end that would not be. Originally, this same recipient, what do we call it, of the particular license that you
The
have to have? 'Cause
presumptive liquor license.
Presumptive
Yes, ma'am.
liquor license, wanted to get the building next to QT, but there was an agreement with QT, they couldn't be that close.
Right.
Footage-wise, there was,
Selling
whatever the
alcohol,
lease is
that's
there,
correct.
they cannot have the liquor store that close to the QT. I guess they see it as competition. So it's capable of being a single, but there may be a problem. I kind of felt for them to some degree because they were retrofitting, and I know you have to fit in a particular quadrant over there. You can't go anywhere in the city. You've got to be in the quadrant that's allowed for that. And I thought, well, if the intent of the law is the appearance and to look good with brick, you can see and it's an existing building, see, ground up.
Right.
But I'm not a builder, so I don't know, well, how easy is that to retrofit and turn it all into brick? I don't know, because I was reading the comments, all that you wrote for us in the report, trying to understand if they could do it or not do it. It came down to expense. But it is somewhat concerning to hear from you all that there's been a number of things that have been deviated from that should have been known by the owner.
Correct.
Yeah, and I was going to ask, what's the
Councilman
status of all those
Mopian.
deviations? I mean, have they resolved them? And
They have not.
They have not.
Were issued a stop work order this week or last week, and that means that they can no longer continue any changes to the building. And go ahead.
Nick Griffin. We issued a stop work order because they failed to call in certain inspections regarding building code and such as a footing inspection. So when they built this new structure that was in the plan set, they did not call in a footing inspection, and the plan set called for a turned down monolithic footing. And obviously that footing has to go below the frost line. So they built this 2x6 structure that's 2 stories tall on the existing sidewalk and removed columns. Staff could not verify that that sidewalk was adequate to maintain the weight and the integrity of the structure. We met with the development group and the builder out there the next day, had a good long discussion with them, and advised them that they're going to have to provide engineering reports. They didn't have to tear that structure down right now, but I guess the long and the short is the builder and the owner took a liability in building the structure prior to variance approval from council, because it obviously doesn't meet the intent of the code. We did lift that stop work order. We said that we gave them details on what they needed to provide. At the same time, we did a full inspection with me, myself, and our building development group, and also had some concerns regarding the interior of the building that we advised them that we're going to have an engineer report on as well. So they are currently not under a stop work order. They are not to alter that structure unless they're going to remove it until we get an engineering letter. But obviously, if the intent of that building is to be a liquor store and they do not receive the variance today for facade requirements, they will not be issued any kind of any additional building permit or business license for a liquor store because it does not meet what the council imposed.
So then they just like them folks with that golf cart thing. They just do what they want to do regardless of what the law says.
They were working under a plan set. It was a building permit plan set. And like I said, they took the liability upon themselves when we are given a set of plans that are, stamped and drawn by an engineer. We can issue a building permit. This would possibly be allowed for any other use, except for a liquor store. So when the building permit is applied for, they submit engineer drawings, and we permit that off of if it meets all IRC, IBC code, NEC code, and it goes through a P&Z review. The intent here was to build a structure per code.
This is the big structure.
This is the big structure. This is an addition to the building.
And there's a problem with it being windowless as well, correct?
That would be
Okay.
P&Z. So I'm from
So-
I'm code
okay.
side.
Y'all decide when you want to
So,
switch.
can I,
They got to take it down. With the white part in there, that's where the liquor store is.
It would be the entirety of the building for the liquor store operations. But if you drive through it now, if you're driving by, you can tell there, it looks like there are 2 units that are still available.
On either end.
Oh, on
Right.
the end.
But they cannot be utilized. We would not issue a business license for either of those because the code does require it be a standalone building. Yes, ma'am.
The original plans, those were not included in here, which I imagine that they wouldn't be. But my question is, they knew what they were purchasing from the get.
They are included.
They are included?
Yeah, if you reference the monitor, figure 1, or figure 2, excuse me, is what was submitted with the variance request as well as with the building permit request. But they deviated from the windows shown here with what they actually constructed so far.
Okay, I think I'd gotten mixed up with what was what. I apologize. So what was originally approved was,
Page 4.
I'm sorry, I
okay.
got them mixed up because I didn't realize that it was the original plans in here.
So just to clarify, they submitted this exact diagram with different coloration with their building permit as well as with the variance request. And close to them getting issued a stop work order last week is when we finally got the renderings. And it was noted then that no windows were being presented here in what's constructed when we all anticipated windows.
Right.
Zoning did, the building department did. Building then took a closer look, and that's when they realized inspections weren't requested, there's deviations from what was permitted, and that's when the stop work order was issued.
I understand now. That makes a lot more sense. I apologize. That is on me. I did not realize that that was the original.
Well, it had multi-pages, right, and it really helped to have this out, because I could just imagine trying to visualize as citizens. So I'm flipping through the pages, trying to remember what I looked at, so we all could see it, and it'd be on the screen. Because then you can see if they originally proposed that, and what we have that y'all found was on page 4, that's a big difference.
That's a change.
And that's aside from the brick issue and the water table and all that, that if this variance was approved, that you guys said you were okay with the stucco on the one part. Is it the fascia?
The fascia.
Fascia,
right. So,
and the water table, which I honestly did not know what the water table was till I looked at the picture. I go, oh, that's like that stone area that's at the bottom.
Mayor, if
So
I
this
may.
is very helpful. Yes, ma'am.
So
Please.
the recommendation from staff is for a denial through
Right.
and through. However, if the council did choose to approve it, we wanted to put some stipulations in place so it wouldn't be a free-for-all if they were issued an approval. And then we did offer you, I think, 4 to 5 zoning conditions to manage that portion of it. They'd have to restripe and things like that. So wanted to offer that as an opportunity for you all if you chose to take it. Otherwise, staff could not, under the requirements and provisions of the code, approve this request.
And what we're deciding is whether it all has to be solid brick around.
Correct. That's correct. If you're going to allow them to deviate from the 4 size brick requirement, because it's about 60% of it, 60 to 65% of the building is brick. There's a portion that's stone just around that water table you have around the columns, the bottom portion of the building on all sides. But that would be the requirement for all size brick, and that is required for all liquor stores within the city.
Councilman
That
Montahan.
section,
Okay.
Hang on.
So what they're claiming is their hardship is that if they put real brick on there instead of the nichia facade, that they would require additional footings. Is that just for the section that they've altered, or is that for the entire? They have to go back and take down the existing brick on the other. Is that what they're saying?
They would put the Nietzsche
Okay.
Nietzsche high type of brick. It's a faux brick
Okay.
on the front facade, on that portion that's kind of protruding
Yeah,
out.
where the wrap is currently.
Right.
Yeah.
Scroll down one. So this image kind of calls out
Okay.
a newly constructed entrance. And that is where they're proposing Nichiha.
Okay.
And their grounds for requesting a variance is that the building is being retrofitted for, adaptive reuse, and that the weights of brick would result in additional expense. Staff is of the opinion that they could construct that newly constructed entrance section strong enough and to
Right.
building requirements that would allow for a brick facade.
So I guess that's my concern is that they went ahead and they kind of got ahead of themselves and they constructed this, and now they're saying, oh, well, what we've constructed is inadequate to support full brick. Whereas if they constructed it the correct way, the right way, they would not have had as much of a hardship or as much greater expense. Is that fair statement?
That's reasonable, and a engineer or building expert would be best to give a expert comment on that. But we do believe that newly constructed section could have been done with full brick as the code intends.
Right. And so that's the only area where the brick is at issue, besides the water table and the stucco. The other brick area here that's existing is not at issue. That's fine.
That is absolutely
Okay.
correct. Yes.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
Yes, sir.
Councilman Carter, did you still have something?
no, I was looking at the picture, and it looks like there's a door way down to the left. Is that a door coming in?
Those are so they bricked in all the extra doors for the sections where they removed the partitions, but they did
They
leave
left that one open, huh?
two full suites at either end.
Okay.
So there are 2 separate suites at either end, in addition to the larger middle section for the package store.
Yeah, that hasn't been bricked yet. Okay.
And they haven't verbalized what the plan is with those?
Correct. We're not clear
Okay.
on their intent for those.
And
2
this will
suites.
require a public hearing, so it'll be coming back. I expect that they'll need to be here on
They
Tuesday.
are not asking to keep those suites available. They understand that that is not allowable.
An option.
It is not an option. It is not a variance. So they are fully prepared and know if they're going to move forward with the liquor store, they do have to brick out those doors. They can only have one entrance and one exit, and that is it.
Even for like a office for the liquor store is still, has to all go through that one entrance and one exit. And that's like
Single entrance, single.
and that's a
exit.
security safety
Correct.
concern.
And that's,
I mean,
I think with most, and maybe with most liquor stores, but that's what the
Yeah.
city has designated for all liquor stores that come into the city. Yes, ma'am.
So that part right there was white. That's gonna be just a wall.
It's just a wall, so, and you'll see there will be a entrance and exit door on on both sides. So you have an entrance on one side, exit on the other.
But it deviated from the original plan that was submitted.
What they're building currently, yes. It does deviate from what they were permitted to do.
Because now I know we're not actually making that decision. All has to do with the brick right now.
Right. just
That's
the brick.
still something that,
That
are
would
the
be
windows
handled-
required? Y'all take
Yes,
care of that?
The windows
Okay,
are required. That's handled administratively.
good.
But the brick, that's the allowance for them not to do brick 100% is the variance request.
Okay, Councilman Carter.
Okay, we only have a picture of the front side. What's on the back side of this building? Is there any doors, anything?
It's a very similar facade on the backside. They've bricked out the extra doors again, but there's access to those end units on the backside as well.
Each one of these entrances on the side, is that just one office all the way through, or is
It
it?
goes all the way through, exactly right.
And has the door on the other side?
On the opposite side, yes, sir.
Okay.
You said 65% is brick. I'm assuming those other sides are already brick without a water table and the extra things they put on the front? Is that?
I'll clarify. 65, give or take, we're subtracting the fascia board from the facade, 100% facade brick. But it is essentially floor to the fascia line, all brick or water table. So it's brick and stone everywhere except where the fascia exists.
Including on the sides we
Including
don't
the
see?
sides, exactly
Okay.
right.
Got it,
What
thank
is
you.
water table? Maybe that's a dumb question, but I won't.
No.
No, I didn't know what it was. I didn't know what it was till I saw the picture.
So the stone
what-
section
yeah,
across the
dumb.
bottom
Yeah.
is what we consider the water table.
What do they call water
What is-
table?
Yeah.
If you think of it in the context of a house, along the sides of a house, or even the back of a house where the water falls off over the eaves or something off the roof, then the dirt won't splash against your siding and muddy up your siding, so the water table kind of helps that.
You always learn something new in this job. I was like, water table, what is the water table? I looked and
What's it good for? What is-
I didn't realize
Okay.
either.
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
And sure did, now I knew what it was, but I didn't know why it existed,
That's
so.
the part I didn't know.
Yeah.
I wasn't sure why they call it a water table, but.
Anything else from council? This will be back on Tuesday, just for fun.
Thank you, everyone.
Okay, that is the end of our agenda, except for executive session. Ms. Smith, would you state the reason on why we're moving into executive session?
Yes, I believe Councilman Carter stated it earlier, but we are going into executive session to discuss personnel matters.
All right.